Gonna have to bend down for today. Today we're making the let me say it right, trick or treat banner. And I found these letters. I found this font that I think is just so cool. It's kind of it's described as a Western font, but I really think it's more like a Gothic font. And I really like the idea of kind of layering it like you had a drop shadow. And I just think it's a really fun font. So that's what we're going to make the banners with. Some background. They've already got some holes in them. And then, the letters on top. But I think there's a lot of potential. You can use these in many different ways. And the other thing is, if you get the all access pass, then you can you get the entire alphabet. So in the regular pass, you get trick or treat, but if you get the all access pass, it includes an entire alphabet, and that's a really cool alphabet. Okay, well, let's get started making this really easy craft that looks so good. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about making the trick or treat banner using Cricut Design Space. Since that's the cutting machine I use, I'm using my maker, and we're on the home screen. We can use Canvas to get to the new project, or click New Project, which is on the upper right hand side. Let's go to Upload, Upload Image. This is the pattern, Trick or Treat Garland Stacked SVG. And what stacked means is that the numbers, everything's all on top of each other so that it fits on a 12 by 12 square. And let's go, I'm going to hit Continue, Upload. The only score line, on this preview page, the only score lines are on these tabs that you can use if you want to on the back of the banners. But I don't think they're necessary, partly because I put holes at the top for you. Upload. We don't need that. So I click that side window away. I'm going to reduce the size so I can see it on my screen. So just on the screen, it's at 50%. Let's ungroup it. And the first thing I do when I ungroup is check to make sure my 1x1 scale box is correct. So now I delete that. And then really, if you're going to use these on the back of a banner as a way to hang the letters, then just select them, go to score lines, and that line is a score line, which I always draw in red, or almost always. I try to draw it in red. It's red, so that's my color box that verifies that I drew it in red, and it's a line, so I know it's a score line. Scroll down to Score under the Operations menu on here on the left, Score. Pick the entire piece again. Scroll to the bottom right-hand side, Attach, and and if you need the narrower one, you can do the same thing for that. Select it, select the line. It's supposed to be red and it's orange. It's supposed to be red. Anyway, wait. Yeah, I'll fix it. Don't worry, I will fix it before I send this out. Score, click the entire piece, attach. All right, and then really just cut out the letters. You can size them if you want them to be a different size, smaller or larger. But remember to keep them all together so that when you size them, they will, they're the same size that they were designed at. Okay, and really that's it for the Trick or Treat banner. Really, really easy, and I think this font is just perfect for Halloween. Okay, now we'll go to the actual making of the banners. Okay, let's get started making the Trick or Treat banner. And you don't need many supplies. I'm using Bearly Art glue, but you can use any kind of craft glue. This I usually use for thicker materials or heavier materials than cardstock, but any glue you have will work because this isn't a precise craft. It's not like we got to fold things all together. So glue, some kind of string to hang it by, and I think I'm going to use black yarn, and then a needle to thread the yarn, and I'm using a darning needle which has a blunt tip. Let's see, I cut it out with my Cricut. You can use any kind of cutting machine. I did the letters, and then this is the kind of the foreground part of the banner, and then we'll put the letters on. So let's do Trick or Treat. Let me try to spell it correctly. Not that you need it in order when you're gluing things together, but in any case, there's our first two words. I've already got treat glued up. Okay, just take your letter and flip it over to the back. Apply some glue. Probably don't need that much because it's basically paper to paper. Try to line up the point. If there's a middle point, I try to line it up. Try to make sure it looks straight. That looks good. Now let's do the R. The R has 2 points, so I'm trying to center this opening between the point on the little banner. Let's see, do I have the C right? I think this is right. I mean, you could flip it over, it doesn't matter, but this part looks a little smaller. I don't think it matters. This is a really cool font, kind of a Gothic font. It's actually described as, when I found it, I was really pleased, but it's actually described as a Western font. But I think it just screams Halloween. And the letters for the garland are, you know, trick or treat. But if you get the all access pass, the VIP pass, you know, with the whole package and all the bonuses, you get the entire alphabet. And like I said, I think this is a really cool font that you could use for, you know, other things. But mainly Halloween things, in my opinion. It's just so easy. Get the R. And I'm doing the letters first because I want them to be stuck down before I glue them onto the background piece, because you don't want them to shift. So for that reason, let's start with the T, since it's the first one we glued, and just apply glue to the back of the yellow banner. Of course, you get to choose any colors you want, but I really like how the yellow just kind of explodes on the purple. This is a very bright yellow anyway. And you can decorate them and add some extra dimension if you want to distress them using some inks. I think that would be fun. Oh, and I didn't make it clear, but I'm lining it up with the holes, so it makes it pretty easy to line it up correctly. And you don't have to use both. If you just want to use one piece of cardstock, you can do that. And in the pattern, there's even a way to just cut out the letter from the background, and you could use a backing piece to make the letter stand out. I'll show that to you in just a minute. Almost got all our letters done. That's it. That's how easy it is. And I've already done treat. So let me show you the other option. So you can put the letter on top. This was actually a different size. I resized it. Let me find a T. Okay, so the T, and just make it show that way. Like I said, I changed the size because I wanted you to be able to cut them out easily on one sheet of cardstock. So at least cut out the letters. So you can layer it that way if you want. But if you do that for letters which have a cutout in them, like the R or an O, you have to be sure and save the little piece I'm not sure this is that the R piece? No, that's this piece. That's making the legs. Then you need this little circular thing, and I looked it up, and these are called a letter that has a cutout like this. If it's complete, I think it's called a counter. So be sure, if you want to use these letters, be sure to save the little cutout pieces so you can use them. Okay. Oh, and here's the other thing I want to show you, because I think this is kind of neat. You can cut out letters in two different colors. So here's the K, and you can do like a drop shadow to make it stand out more. Let me find another K. Let me find a yellow K. There we go. Okay, here's my yellow K. And all you do is kind of offset them. And then you can put them on a contrasting, I didn't have a convenient one, contrasting piece of cardstock, and it gives it more dimension. It's not as flat. And because Trick or Treat cuts out on one sheet, you can do that easily. I mean, you know, it's 2 cuts, one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. It's just run it through your machine twice, and then you get extra dimension. I just think it's kind of fun. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so the next thing is deciding how you want to hang it. Do you want it as 3 different words, trick or treat, 3 different lines, or do you just want it one continuous? And I really think people mostly use this like hanging over a window or something, so we're going to do it as just one. And I'll show you with my thread and my darning needle. I'll show you kind of the cool way to do it. Whoops, my little black cat is about to bust in because I have yarn. He's very intrigued. That's my favorite cat, Luca. Okay, so I like the thread or yarn or ribbon, whatever you use, to go behind the letter. So I start on one side and then come around to the back. Okay, same thing. Start on the front, just this front edge, and come around on the back. And because they're 2 holes, they don't sag together very much. You know, they're pretty easy to space. Pull out more thread. And also, if you start at the beginning, you know, you can pull the thread through pretty easily. That's not hard. Oops, I did that one wrong. See, I'll show you. This is the way I don't want it to go. You see, I think that detracts from the letters. So let's do it over. So go to the front of the left hole. I'm left-handed, so maybe you sew in a different direction. But anyway, I think you get the point. And you can also add, like, if you have some little baubles or some little fun things, like a back cutout you want to put in between, you can do that. See, I'm doing it wrong again. Go to the front of the letter and then behind it. Trick. Front of the letter and then behind it. And when we hang this up, we'll leave more space to separate the words. Front of the letter. I'm having to remind myself every time, which will entertain Luca. He's just right there. Just there. I call him Lukey most of the time, but his real name is Luca. He's a very, very nice little cat. Just showed up in my yard, and he was pretty sickly. So I decided he could join my family. And treat, front, back. There. He was trying to reach for it. Oh, and then be sure you spell it right.
Have your letters all oriented in the correct direction, or correct order, front, back. I'm going to spread them out. So when I hang them up, I'm going to leave extra yarn so I can kind of distribute them. But see how easy that is? And I think it's really fun. It's a cool font. And you're probably better with colors than I am. And so you can do whatever creative colors. And if you want to make it all spooky or use some nice, really nice papers, maybe you've got some great Halloween papers. And just make your own banner quickly. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like when it's hanging up. Alrighty, y'all have fun today, okay? Have a good trick-or-treat day.
So I do hope you will join me and make your own trick-or-treat banner. And just like I said when I was talking about one of the other crafts, make it your own. Pick some cool colors, put it on different, really, really go wild with how you do the background for your trick-or-treat so that you get to take advantage of these cool letters. Alrighty, I will see y'all later, okay? You take care. Bye.